we're back again, don't mean to pester, but we got another rap for the second semester.
We read books that were all from the 20th century, and our rhymes are so good, we'll be sent to penitentiary.
So we better get started before our voices get raspy. Our first book for y'all is called The Great Gatsby. Out on a landmass shaped like an egg, the story takes place that has me shaking my head. There's a guy who moved there, but he didn't stay. A soft-spoken stud named Nick Carraway. He lives in a cottage close to a dude who lives in a big mansion, which sets the mood. Nick's relative named Daisy Buchanan is married to Tom, and she can't reel her man in. He's having an affair with a girl named Myrtle, so his relationship with his wife has started to curdle. Meanwhile, back at Gatsby's place, it's a frenzy of men, women, and lace. He throws parties that go all night. Meanwhile, he's mesmerized by Daisy's green light. He and she were close in the past, but unluckily for them, their relationship couldn't last. So Gatsby decided to make a way to meet her, had Nick invite her with Gatsby to greet her. Gatsby and Daisy rekindled their spark, but avoiding Tom was no walk in the park. Of their activities, he was pretty suspicious, and the climax of his feelings were kind of vicious. In a hotel room, Gatsby made a confrontation and told Tom that he and Daisy had a scandalous relation. After that shock, the ride home was pretty scary, with Daisy driving fast, hidden Myrtle and Nary. A glance back in the rear view mirror, Gatsby took blame and his doom got nearer. Soon after that, Gatsby was shot by Myrtle's husband no less, while the trail was hot. Some may think that wasn't really fair, but guess what, people? Daisy don't care. After Gatsby, there are more surprises. We read a dank book called The Sun Also Rises.
Sun Also Rises has a certain charm because it features sad Americans like Jake Barnes. These Americans are shell-shocked and depressed beyond compare. They're moaning and groaning about how life isn't fair. Barnes is hopelessly in love with the boyish Ashley Brett. He is hindered by an injury that Brett can't forget. He's the best the characters get in this weird-ass book. He's relatable and definitely not an evil crook. Cohen is known for his mad boxing skills, but his love for Brett is crazy and he needs to take a chill pill. He brings the worst out of all his friends, and his love for Brett is constantly a dead end. Unable to commit, Brett runs adrift, but she finds she's engaged with a spendthrift. Mike can't stop drinking, he's gone too far. His credit card is drained as he drinks in the bar. Cycling round and round, their lives no son buenos, so they leave to San Sebastian because they're aficionados. San Sebastian has a violent art of bullfighting, which many people like to think is quite exciting. Young Romero brings bullfighters to shame, and with win after win, he quickly gains fame. Brett falls in love with the awfully young boy, and he professes his love for the pretty tomboy. This stirs up a mess, for men want bliss. All of them are chasing after this young miss. Punches, attacks, drunken shouts. The entire trip to Spain ends in many fallouts. Finally, the trip ends with injured Barnes and Cohen, and happy Brett and Romero are left alone. This pretty much cycles around over and over, with people taking advantage of Jake the pushover. Next, we'll hear about another war-torn fella, but when you meet Billy, you'll think, what the hella?
Slaughterhouse 5 is quite interesting because Billy as a character is unsatisfying. He is weak, passive, has no will of his own, yet through Billy temporal distortion, Vonnegut makes Dresden known. The book starts off with some metafiction when Vonnegut explains his disposition. He didn't want his work to glorify war, so it's the children's crusade, anti-war to its cord. The story he wrote is very jumbled, signifying how much by war he was troubled. The story progresses as Billy unsticks in time ships. He serves in World War II, grows old, and causes rifts. During the war, he gets captured by the enemy. After the war, he loses bits of his sanity. A POW, he's mocked by totalitarians. A father, he waits for a trophy of endurance. The bombing of Dresden leaves the city like the moon. The alien abduction leaves Billy in a zoo. So it goes, Derby dies pillaging a teapot, and Billy lives on, time shifting and changing not. Be warned, the story's not chronologically sound. Vonnegut intended this, wanting to confound. Now we'll head into the wild with a less fantastical setting, with a boy named McCandless who's sick of pretending.
Into the Wild is a thrilling non-fiction that talks about a man who causes parents much affliction. Chris McCandless is the subject of this rap, and he chooses to live his life without a map. Even after success at Emory University, Chris wants to leave his home with a strange perversity. His need to flee came from his parents' control. He couldn't be confined, and he wanted a free soul. Relying on himself, hunting, writing, and reading, Chris was free and soaking nature. There was nothing he was needing. Guiding his actions were Emerson and Thoreau. Chris read their books a lot. He was very in the know. McCandless roamed in camps, worked in shops, and made some friends. Established relationships even he didn't want to end. Unfortunately, in Alaska, Chris met his end as he made a couple mistakes that people can't comprehend. Krakauer thinks he was poisoned by his food, which made him weaker and weaker till his life had to conclude. Some respect him for his individuality. He was very brave and smart as he fought against duality. Others believe that he was a child, wild and foolish. They didn't want him glorified in kids thinking he was coolish.
Since this is English and not biology, we're gonna tell you about some super dope anthology. Anthologies, and more anthologies. An amazing window into Merca's ideology. We read 2 about women in
Asian writers about their struggles and their stories and how they're all fighters. We read an essay called Mother Tongue by Amy Tan, who wrote it when she was young. It's about how Chinese mothers' thoughts are sound, but in English words they have some trouble getting around. Another story was about Angel Island and the interrogation that people faced got out of hand. On the women's side of things, Amelia Earhart told how she got her wings. Other women talk about being bored cause all they do is wash clothes and their minds could take more. A late night wrapping candles down to a stub, so now let's tell you about the Joy Luck Club.
The Joy Luck Club explores for mothers and their daughters and highlights two cultures separated by waters. The Chinese mothers face challenges galore. The American daughters interpret maternal lore. Bian, Lindo, and Mei and Ying are immigrant mothers who came here hoping that hard work, patience, and persistence would ensure better lives and better fates and opportunities and more. Anmei's got a scar from a family dinner, during which her mother is turned away for being a sinner. Later, Anmei joins her mother in a life of shame, yet learns to use her voice and defend her name. Now her daughter Rose is struggling with her divorce, so Anmei gives advice. More wood, more force. Young Ying carried the tiger in her eye, yet being down and pushed around, her will starts to die. Then goes her voice taken by her foreign husband, but all this changes when she has her daughter to trust in. Her daughter, Lena, is struggling with her marriage. Harold, strict equality, Ying will disparage. Lindo's caught in a loveless union, but devises an escape plan without causing ruin. She passes this invisible strength to her daughter Waverly, yields it almost too well to play chess daily. Both struggle to maintain two cultural identities. Lindo can't barter, Waverly has more American tendencies. After Suyan's death, Jingmei now becomes the East. She begins her journey to continue her mother's daring feat. She travels to China and connects a bridge to the past and secures that her mother's good intentions will forever last.
Wow, that rap really felt like a marathon.
When summer comes, we'll be sitting on a sunny lawn.
Never thinking about American lit.
We can chill back, relax, and cool down a bit.
Yo, this be Jana. Alene. This could be. Yeah.
We out, we out, we out.